angel pigtails or ponytails, whatever it's called. But they look like little angel wings.
Yeah.
And on shadows, and on the shadows, they look like they make you look like you have cat ears.
You see?
Hey guys, we are with Daniel and DJ from Arms Family Homestead. Sometimes I want to call it farm. There's a lot of people out there that kind of transition between farm and homestead, and I never remember, but it's homestead. We're here in front of their amazing, super cute cabin and beautiful property in Oklahoma. And they're going to give us a little bit of a tour.
The latest thing is my high tunnel. I've had some people really pushing me for a couple of years to apply for a grant through the NRCS. And there's several people around here that have done that. It's a cost share program. They don't pay for all of it, but they pay for a portion. It's a soil conservation grant, basically. And we've got a lot of erosion in Oklahoma. And we live so close to this creek, and we're on a hillside. We qualified for it, so we got a high tunnel put up this year, so I'll show that to you.
Do you have to be part of a farm, or can you just do it as like a backyard type of adventure?
Basically, the way they explained it to me, the NRCS website has all the details, but the way they explained it to me is you have to show agriculture in that area. So I couldn't have taken this high tunnel and just put it anywhere. I had to be able to show that I've been growing crops in that area. I didn't have to have sales or market anything to prove that. They just came out and went, okay, yeah, we can tell this has been an area that you've grown crops on for, you know, at least a year. They could tell. So
Yeah, they have the same program available up where we are, but it's a little different. You have to actually have, like, they record what your cover crop is, and what you're going to grow here and what you're going to grow here, and you have to use it for like 3 years in a row to and they really monitor it really closely. And I think it even has to be a certain size. It has to be bigger than X amount of square feet in order for it to be legitimate. Okay, you want to show us your greenhouse?
absolutely, sure. Well, this hot wire is still on, but it's
Am I
low
tall
enough to the
enough?
ground. We can.
Yeah, it's tall enough to step over.
So this high tunnel was built by a guy locally. He has a business of just building greenhouses. He's had several different styles. So the whole back wall of that raises up. He calls it a clamshell, and typically he puts a clamshell on both ends. So when you raise the end walls, you can drive a tractor all the way through. Because a lot of people want to grow in plastic, in a raised bed in plastic, and you can drive the tractor straight through. We didn't like the look of both clamshells, and I don't plan on driving straight through.
Right.
I like the look of an end wall. My wife really didn't like the look of the clamshell, and it's right next to our house, so we compromised with something that was a little bit more pretty, I guess.
And the total cost?
Well, like I said, it was a cost share. Out of pocket, my part was about $1,700.
That's half the cost of ours. Have you seen ours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ours is
It's
tiny.
half the size of this.
Yes, but
So
the
that's
total
good.
cost was, I would have to look. I've got it in the house, probably close to $7,000.
Yeah.
It
So
was-
it was
it
worth
was
being part of the
expensive.
program.
Oh
you
yes,
guys.
absolutely, absolutely. I haven't opened this thing up today, so it's very humid in here right now. A couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the evening.
This
In the
is
summertime.
fantastic. So you guys harvest your own greens for your green smoothies.
That was, yes, our juicer green. The greens for juicing is what is so expensive because it takes so much to make so little. But I mean, kale. It's so easy to grow.
This is fantastic, and you water with a drip line.
Yes, it's all on a drip system. I think eventually I'll probably come in and put more raised beds. I really like how they're doing this. This is the first crop that's been in those raised beds, and it's just doing awesome. The kale is just blowing up. The next bed is all carrots, and that was an idea. Danny and Wanda had a bed like that, and I thought, well, that's a good idea. I'm gonna try it, and it's just crazy.
Is it your native soil?
So what I did, most of it is our native soil, yes, but on top there's a little bit of red sand. My biggest goal was to be able to grow a longer season. in Oklahoma, we can get away with growing outside most of the winter. I mean, we get below freezing, but things like kale and spinach are fine. I just, in the wintertime,
And it's nice to be able to work in a warmer.
it's warm. Yes,
space.
it's so nice in here right now. I mean, it's what, probably 55 degrees
Yeah, it's
outside and
nice.
about 80 in here.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's really nice. And then if you open the doors and get a little bit of a breeze, it's wonderful. I thought, man, this would be awesome. And the deer in the wintertime, I mean, I never had a problem in the past with deer in the summer until this year. I never even tried in the winter because there's no way it would survive. You'd have to do low tunnels.
Yeah.
Or
and they're
something.
A pain in the butt. So much work to come out and open and close and open and close.
I've done
and
low
open and
tunnels. I've
close.
got the material sitting out here for the arches, and that's the thing. With me working a full-time job, I have a really hard time opening and closing every morning. I was talking about Justin Rhodes. I love watching Justin Rhodes. Right now he's got one bed with one low tunnel, and that's one thing that he's made a huge emphasis in his channel lately. Is I can't remember to take that cover off, and it's 10 feet from his house. It's just it's not convenient.
Because it's one thing if you're home 24/7, always there, you have a timer, you remember to do it. But sometimes even in the winter, it gets hot enough in our greenhouse. If we didn't have the automatic door, I'd be running out every 2 hours to open or close something. And so human nature is such that if it's inconvenient, we won't do it. And so, but they have, I mean, there's so many like built-in greenhouse venting systems that are heat activated that are off grid. But with the low tunnels, it is difficult because there's no automation.
Right. Yeah. It's called a clamshell design. Let me untie these ropes real quick because I haven't actually opened the vent the last week or so. I just tied the ropes so it makes a tighter seal for when you are getting below freezing.
Yeah.
But you don't have to tie it shut all the time. So that's just if you want to open and close it. Here, I can leave the doors open on the front and raise my back wall 6 inches, and you get a breeze blowing through. And you'll notice a difference in temperature within seconds.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do you have a lot of wind here?
We do. Oklahoma has a lot of wind, but my little area, I'm down in such a low spot.
Not as big as
I don't have wind here at all.
That's been my biggest problem with our greenhouse is that the vent will say that it needs to be open, but if there's a wind, it can do a lot of damage if that vent tries to open when there's a high wind.
Weeds that pop up in here. I try to do my best to keep them down, but they're very manageable. And there's a lot of wood chips. You see a lot of wood chips in here because several years ago I tried the Back to Eden garden. Didn't work at all. I failed miserably. Mostly because fire ants were the biggest problem. And I couldn't keep enough nitrogen to my plants. All the wood just sucked so much nitrogen out. I was pouring so much nitrogen to them, it wasn't effective. I'm not saying it won't work.
Right. I don't know anybody who's actually
struggled.
successfully done it on not. I think if you did it for 15 years and you got the system going, it would work. But we do it around our trees, and then we put ducks in that space. The ducks take care of any bugs, they take care of any weeds, and they fertilize. And so we only use the Back to Eden garden stuff around fruit trees. We don't use it as part of our annual garden.
So that when this is down, I've got chains concreted in the ground. So in case there is a high wind, it can't lift the whole thing. But I'll just raise it part of the way up, and we'll have to take the chains off. But this makes so much ventilation. The ventilation here, you can't when the back wall is completely up. It's just like being outside. But just raising it in the summertime, I just leave it raised a few feet off the ground, and it's just like a breeze that comes through.
Yeah, that is really neat.
And it's just like an accordion. It'll go all the way up. I mean, the whole back wall will be what's that? Probably 11 feet in the middle. And you could drive. I can back my tractor in here if I need to and till it all, which I'm going to try not to do. I really don't want to put my tractor in here because I'm working towards not compacting the soil, and I'm trying, teach my kids not to walk on my rows, even if there's nothing planted there. I don't want them walking on the row.
Yeah, and you could feel that breeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. The temperature difference is just almost immediate.
Yeah, it dropped, 10 degrees?
Yeah.
20 seconds. So
I think that's awesome.
that get a shot of the tomato plant rustling in the wind.
Yeah, that was a volunteer tomato plant that just popped up right there.
Seriously.
Part of the program, the NRCS program,
No livestock.
no livestock,
Yep.
and things are supposed to be grown in the soil.
Yeah.
So I can't do raised, I can do raised beds that don't have a bottom, but I couldn't do boxes that are elevated up off the ground.
So they don't want aquaponics or anything.
No,
How interesting.
no, it's supposed to be. It's a soil conservation grant, so they want your crops grown in the soil.
How interesting.
Now, I did call and check on the raised beds, but like I said, those are just boxes that have no bottom.
Right.
So it's technically still in the soil. But my goal is probably to come back and have raised beds completely down both sides, because I do struggle with water when it floods. We're on a hillside and water comes off of the house. And I did cut drainage ditches on either side of my tunnel, but I still have a lot of water that hits and it still comes under in its soil. So it absorbs. Even if it doesn't wash under, it'll still, the soil will be wet for probably 2 feet. And I think that raised bed will help that. Yeah, it's just so much fun to me.
It is.
I work a job that most people would agree is a high stress job most of the time, and to me gardening is a stress reliever. It's my getaway. We're busy. I work full time. Our kids are full of activities, and it takes a lot of time to run a garden. And in this high tunnel, it takes quite a bit of time. But really, I enjoy it, and to me, it's a stress reliever, and I don't know, fruits of my labor. My job, I love my job, but when I get home at the end of the day, I don't have anything to quantify. I can't say, this is, I in law enforcement, there's, how do you say, here's what I produced today? Here's my result. I'm alive. I didn't die. That's a good result, but you can't quantify that. And to me, gardening is my way of, I can give somebody a bucket of tomatoes and they can go do whatever they want to with them, and I can show results. And it's a good feeling. So it's a stress reliever for me.